one day into construction and I already quit. I finally got a job. So yesterday, for the first time after being unemployed for the last 2 weeks, I finally got a job and it was my first day working. So I was excited to go to work. I was working with my dad doing construction. We were doing roofing. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna be the hardest worker. I'm gonna show them that I can work and I'm gonna go above and beyond, which I really didn't do. But the intention, the motivation was there. I wanted to give it my all. I wanted to prove that I could work that because I've done it before. But I'm 22 years old now. I'll be 23 in September. My body can't handle that anymore. I'm not as young as I used to be. I woke up this morning with a missed call from my dad and one message that read, "Hey, you're gonna come into work." And respectfully, I didn't answer him. Matter of fact, I couldn't even reach over to text him. My body was aching out. I couldn't move. So one day into construction and I already quit. But it's okay because, like I had mentioned before on previous videos, I recently got a new job and I should be starting very, very soon. So I am excited about that because it's a lot less wear and tear on your body. I am drenched in sweat and I have these things in and I'm getting blisters now.
Okay. I make $40 an hour sitting in the car and managing flaggers. Go get your OSHA. Go get your OSHA 30. Yeah, ladies. Go get your OSHA 30. It makes sense. It makes sense. I'm about to show y'all what I do. First and foremost, this video is going to be hella long. So if you're not interested in making $40 an hour, stroll. So I got out the work truck around 6:20 a.m. Before the shift starts at 7 a.m., I need to start planning, reviewing my traffic control plans, which is called a TCP. Basically, I need to know where all the closures, detours, and where all the signs and devices need to go. After that, I need to check approvals and notifications. I need to confirm permits, lane closures, windows, who was notified, which it was the DOT, highway patrol, any toll incidents, anything I need to notify and check for approvals. The flaggers, which is my crew, normally gets here around the same time I get here, which is around 6 to 6:20 a.m. Around like 6:30, they start prepping their equipment. I start assigning certified flaggers. I start verifying if their radio works, if the load signs, the cones, drums, anything is okay. Their paddles is cool. Because once 7 a.m., we close the road, it gets crazy. Today, a flagger was late, and it stressed me out because I already assigned everybody to their specific area, and that flagger came late, and it just messed up the whole feng shui. My job is also to make sure that the flaggers are doing what they gotta do because one wrong move, car accident. And you know what happens in car accidents? Bad things happen. So my job is to make sure that nobody's on the phone, everybody's doing what they gotta do so that we could go home at the end of the day safe. My job is also to request law enforcement. Just in case someone wants to speed past us and not listen, my job is to call the police on them. I'm not gonna lie, this is a very lazy job. But all day I was sweating. Why? Because I had to walk the zones periodically to fix knockdown cones because people was driving by and knocking down the cones with their cars. Like, So I had to constantly fix cones, get out the car. So me and the foreman driving up and down the highway to see if all the cones is intact, if they're in place. Because if anybody knock down the cone and we don't fix it, we get into big, big trouble. And this is one of the construction sites that, they're doing their thing. And I'm managing the flaggers. It's pretty much a lazy girl job. This is why I want y'all to get into the trade so that y'all could be lazy girls and get $40 an hour and plus. Get your OSHA 30, y'all. Like, I'm just looking up and down the highway pretty much all day. That's my job. And checking on the flaggers to see if they're not on the phone, if they chilling, what they doing. And stopping the traffic. So if y'all want to get into this field or just get this type of job, let me know in the comments. Like, ask me questions. I'm going to try my best to answer it. Y'all know I go live. Y'all can ask me in the comments or y'all can ask me when I go live. But yeah, this is pretty much what I do. FYI, this is my first construction job, so I have no other construction experience. Get your OSHA 30. Get your OSHA 30, ladies. You work smart, not hard. Y'all saying nobody hiring y'all. There's a hiring freeze. Not in trade, not in construction, not in general construction, not in industrial construction. They hiring women like crazy. My school put me onto this job, so let me know if y'all need some more information. But the most important thing is to get your OSHA 30. Whether you gotta go to school, take a class, get your OSHA 30. And I just quit my $40 an hour job in construction. I know, but I got some good news. I am on my way to go take my first welding test. My first weld test. Do you know what that is? That is a welding job interview. But we don't have interviews. We don't have job interviews in construction. There's nobody saying, so why do you want to be a welder? What do you bring to the company? They don't have that. You apply for a welding position or you apply for any type of trade position. And they say, come in. Let me see what you could do. And this is what I'm getting ready for. Like, honestly, I want to do a whole nother video on why I quit that 40 an hour job, because I only was working there for a week. But that's going to be in another video. You know, my dream job as of right now is to be a welder. And sometimes I feel like I'm not good enough. Yes, I got a 4.0 GPA. Yes, I got A's in every test, in all the class. But I do believe that I'm not the best because I just started school. Like, I'm on my second semester. I don't know. Maybe it's because I felt like I wasn't good enough, so I started applying for construction jobs. I was literally applying for welding jobs for the last 2 weeks. And I didn't get any callbacks. So I started to feel like maybe I'm not good enough. I applied to construction jobs, trade jobs. I got the $40 an hour job. And I'm like, well, I'll just do this until my dream jobs call me. Life has a funny way of showing you things. Do y'all know yesterday I get a call from the welding job as soon as I get in the house? I was like, I can't do this construction job. I don't know. I just can't. Like, I need to do welding. And I get a phone call saying, is this so-and-so? I say, yeah. They're like, okay, you know, we've been looking at your resume. We looked at your application. We want to call you in to do a weld test. My heart dropped. It dropped, y'all. So get ready with me to go take my weld test. Flammable shirt that I always wear. Because why would I not? Carhartt, like, to the socks. These are my two favorite bandanas. I think I'm going to wear this one. This screams, she's a welder and she knows what she's doing, right? And the reason why we wear bandanas and stuff like this to protect our hair. I feel like I really got to give y'all the rundown. I'm not going to lie. I'm extremely nervous and I got to give y'all the rundown. I just love the fact that you don't get judged off of a job interview questionnaire. Ugh. So, why do you want to work for this company? I despise jobs like that. That's why y'all got to get into trade, because trade don't give a shit about none of that. As long as you get in the building and you show them your skills. Oh my God. I'm so excited. Put on my jacket. I wish I could just call my teacher and say, I got my first weld test. Okay. I feel like one of those 90s baddies. You know, like, I got my hood and I got my gloves. Wish me luck, y'all. I got the job! I make 6 figures now at welding. I got the job. 6 figures. 6 freaking figures!
So I've been thinking about this for a long time, and if I'm honest, I've been putting it off because, you know, the security aspect of having a full-time job, you know, a steady wage, it's been my normal for over a decade. But the time's come, I'm handing in my notice and I'm quitting scaffolding. After years on site, different jobs, I've made the decision to step away from that and go all in on my business. Because I feel like I've been juggling two worlds, like two identities that, to be honest, I've struggled with that. You know, having one foot in on the scaffolding job and one foot trying to build something on the side. The truth is that's been one of the hardest parts for me, is trying to step into this new identity as a business owner while still showing up as the scaff that I've always been. You know, it messes with your head when your environment hasn't caught up with where you are internally. And I feel like in my personal life, I've passed the point of needing to trade my body for money now, and I've realised you've got to change your environment to really dial in on who you're becoming. For me anyway, like you can't keep surrounding yourself with people who only see the old version of you, you know, the same old habits that you had before, because I feel like it just makes it too easy to fall back into those bad habits. So yeah, this is me fully stepping into who I've been becoming for about a year now, and yeah, someone I've been working towards. As you can imagine, this is probably a big culture shock for me, but yeah, no halfway, no more playing both sides. I'm fucking going all in.
I was working in the trades for maybe a couple months before I quit. You know, I wanted to go into the trades in the first place because I saw there was no young kids going into it. You know, a lot of people are retiring in it, so there's going to be a really big demand, which means you're going to make a lot more money. And I looked around at all my coworkers. These guys are all like 40, 50 years old, talking about cheating on their wives. They're all drinking alcohol on the job site. None of them were happy with their lives. And I looked around and I was like, this is not how I want to end up like, you know? And after working there for a couple of months, I just realized that the people making the most money aren't even the ones working. They're the ones who own the business. I don't want to live the rest of my life just trading my time for money. I want to have financial freedom eventually. I don't want to retire with a broken back. And I'm really lucky that I realized that early on. So I just went straight into owning a business in the trades. And I've learned more in 3 months of owning a business than I did in 6 months of doing construction.
I know y'all don't want to hear me say this, but somebody got to say it. Construction is not easy. And as you can see, that's why it's a lot of people quitting their jobs. As construction workers, they starting to feel like it's starting to take a toll on them. And they starting to hate to come to work. And I know that sounds harsh, but it is what it is. I done worked in a construction field before. I worked in the past. It wasn't that long. But I had some tough experiences with construction. Let me know if you're a construction worker. Let me know if you like it, or let me know if you really don't care too much for it. But I can remember that construction is not all year round. It's seasonal. The construction site I worked for, you know. I used to have to climb in holes, all types of things, dig holes. It was just so much manual labor. It was too much for me. And then on top of that, you want something that's all year round. And some people just don't know how to deal with all that work, you know? And half of the times, people are just working just to survive, you know? Not for the passion of that job. They're just working that job just to survive. And then it's stressful. I remember I used to have to work 12 hours sometimes. Work those long shifts. Get out when it's almost nighttime. and then you still not valued as an employee. So I'm starting to see it more and more, and people are just getting fed up, you know? And I don't get it. So that's why there's so much going on in this world. And I get it. And some people just don't want to deal with those constant layoffs. And when I got laid off from that construction job, I never got a call back. And sometimes it's hard out there. I done seen people get laid off when I was working at a construction job. The first 2 weeks they got the job. And the crazy thing is that they only hired a certain amount of us in the city that we lived in just to get that project. But the contract didn't say they had to keep us. So they let a lot of us go. They got to do what they got to do. They're going into other trades, trying to start their own business. Because the cost of living out here, it's going to be very difficult for the average American to obtain. And that's the sad part. It's like we've been living in this country so long, trying to have hopes and dreams. And our dreams are always shambled, taken away. And our dreams are starting to become a nightmare. And people can't deal with it. And then, don't get me started on groceries. You can't afford nothing. And it's not a coincidence. This is all by design. But construction is not for everybody. You know how situations go. You know how they always say, man, you should have just held on to the job longer. What if the job is making you miserable and it's messing up your mental? And you going to hold on to that job? That's like insanity. And why do that to yourself? A lot of people will sit through it though. But sometimes it's a time and place for that. And this ain't the time and place. So people are just leaving. And at the end of the day, it's their life, you know. Hopefully it works out for them. But I know you really don't supposed to quit your job if you don't have a backup plan. But some people just quitting their job with no backup plan. And those people, they ain't scared of nothing. So you got to respect it. So that's my take on that situation. Construction is not for everybody. So let me know if you worked in construction. Let me know if you like it. Or let me know if you didn't like it. Leave it in the comments. And I'm going to see y'all on the next one. Peace. That's my take.